Monday morning. Good Monday morning. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. We trust you are well this glorious day. Hope your Easter celebrations went better than you had anticipated. And hopefully you went to church. Hopefully you picked up some info that you can use moving forward. We're going to play a little game here, and this is the game about the what is the what about ism game. I normally don't like to play that game, but sometimes we are left with little choice than to play the what about game. The what about game today is going to be if that statement that they use so often, well, no one is above the law. Well, if no one's above the law, then why weren't the Democrats that we're going to name here held accountable? If no one is above the law, that's fine. No one's above the law. It's the law, and if you can't get above it, if you get above it, you get slapped back down. Awesome, fantastic. But if you do that, you got to do that with everybody, don't you? If you're going to come up with that, you got to sort of do that for everybody. So, in this article written by our friend Spencer Brown over at Town Hall, it starts off: no one is above the law. That's been the message that Democrats have been using to bludgeon against former President Trump. In what is becoming a lazy and extremely flimsy cover for their partisan, politically motivated prosecution of Republicans. You see, Democrats have no motivation for going after Trump, the GOP lawmakers, original and Supreme Court justices, or conservative parents, other than to upholding the rule of law. They argue. Okay, it's like, we're just trying to obey the law. It's not political. We're just trying to obey the law. Prosecutions definitely do not have anything to do with using government power as a punishment for those who stand in the way. No. We're just trying to obey the law. As such, Democrats have simply never broken the law. Democrats don't break the law. And any who have faced swift justice for their wrongs. And they seem to assert with their claim that no one is above the law. But is that true? In fact, few, if any, Democrats have been held accountable for their crimes. They are instead copious examples of Democrats going unpunished for their apparent or alleged criminal acts. That, of course, makes them all hypocrites. And the hypocrisy is the thing that I tell them all the time, is the hypocrisy that makes people the angriest, that makes people the most frustrated. So it sort of proves that their stated belief in the rule of law is just another weaponized double standard. Start with this. Let's start with Hunter. Y'all remember Hunter, don't you? The guy who said he probably smoked more Parmesan cheese than anybody in the world. And at the same time, the president said he's the smartest guy I know. Anyway, the first kid, as he's named here in the article, Hunter Biden, purchased a weapon. Okay, in and of itself, no problem. Fill out the paperwork. One of the questions is, are you addicted to drugs? He answered no. Guess what? Yes. Hunter is addicted to crack. Now, I know that Whitney Houston said crack is whack and that she makes too much money to do crack. And I guess Hunter was going to use the very same excuse. But the fact of the matter was that crack was his thing. So he lied on the form. So in giving his essentially documented issues with drugs, lying on a firearm background check form is a federal felony that carries up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Penalties that seem like they ought to apply to Hunter. Yet, y'all ain't heard nothing about it because there ain't been nothing about it. He's still doing whatever he's doing, hanging out, going on vacations with his fam, chilling around, up on Air Force One, hitting that pipe. I don't know if he's hitting the pipe or not. I don't know. Probably not. But he's definitely not in prison. Definitely hasn't paid a $250,000 fine. Anyway, let's talk about your girl. Your girl, she's not my girl. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Uh, any number of offenses, none of which have been prosecuted through logical acrobatics and the invention of the new legal standard just for the failed presidential candidate. Despite knowing better, Clinton kept and sent classified messages and information labeled both secret and top secret on a private server in her residence. She sent more than 100 emails containing such classified information. Each of those private email servers email sends constitutes a possible felony every time, carrying up to a 10-year sentence. 10 times 100. It's 1,000 years in prison. Yet there's been no prosecution. Clinton now teaches a master class on resilience. What the hell does that mean? She's facing 1,000 years in prison. Nothing. Nothing. Hillary's husband, Bill, saxophone playing Bill. I wonder if he plays. I wonder if he still plays. I wonder if he still plays the saxophone. He's around the house. Yeah, I wonder. Maybe. Perjured himself, committed perjury, while lying under oath to a grand jury as part of his affair with, little chubby girl, Monica Lewinsky. Remember that? The blue dress, white stain, cigar game, smoking the whole deal. Remember that? The House of Representatives impeached Clinton for perjury and obstruction of justice, while the Senate voted not to convict Clinton on either. So he was impeached. And that's it. Nothing happened. Yet, for perjuring himself before the grand jury, there was no formal judicial prosecution, and the former president now teaches a class on leadership. Oh, yeah, this chick here, Christine Blasey Ford. You remember her during the Brett Kavanaugh hearings? Because she said that Brett Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her when they were in high school. She repeated her claims regarding what was an indelible. It was indelible on the hippocampus. It was burned into her brain, I guess is a phrase, about the alleged assault under oath before the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee. Ford's claims were not substantiated or corroborated. And one of her friends, for the time that the alleged assault would have happened, has gone so far as saying, I don't have any confidence in her story. It is unsurprisingly a crime to lie to the Congress while under oath. And you can't lie to, that's the worst part. If you lie to Congress, they'll put you in jail. They lie to us every day. Every day. Well, the only way to tell a lie in Congress is to be a congressman. At least we know the rules. No prosecution, nothing. There's former director of national intelligence, James Clapper, who seems to have perjured himself when he allegedly lied under oath to Congress, again, about data collection as part of the domestic surveillance program. No prosecution has been brought for his allegedly false statements to Congress. Former CIA Director John Brennan also seems to have lied to Congress while the legislative branch was investigating his agency's use of torture and subsequent operations to spy on the Senate staffers who were investigating claims regarding the CIA torture. No prosecutions there either. Oh, yeah, don't forget Eric Holder, Barack Obama's Attorney General, who defied Congress and refused to turn over documents related to Obama's Fast and Furious program, gun walking program. You remember Fast and Furious, right? Not the movie, something else. Lawmakers voted to hold Holder in contempt of Congress, authorizing potential criminal action against Holder, yet there was no real penalties for Holder. We reported on the Willie Lawson show because we got word that he was going to be held in contempt of court, but held in contempt of Congress. Days before it happened, nothing happened. And has Andrew Cuomo faced any prosecution for his order that forced New York nursing homes to accept and house COVID positive patients? It was a death sentence for a lot of elderly nursing home residents. Unpunished. So what do all these people have in common? They have been and probably always will be treated as though they are above the law. The same law that is used even tenuously against Republicans and conservatives. The reality is, of course, a violation of the rule of law. So when Democrats try to portray themselves as serious adherents to the rule of law, we're just trying to uphold the law. Know that there is another ploy to defend themselves against legitimate criticism and to shield their blatantly partisan use of the justice system to take down their political and ideological foes. They use this just to win. And I've said many times, it is impressive that these people will do anything to win. They'll say anything, they'll go anywhere, they'll do anything to win. It is tough to beat an opponent who won't follow the rules, but will make you follow the rules. But they have no intentions on following the rules. It's like boxing. If your opponent is going to go out there and grab a folding chair and smack it upside your head like it's WWE, and then you can't do that, you can't do the same, you're going to have a hard time winning. You're going to have a hard time winning. If in NASCAR, if one driver has four other drivers who are going to crash into all the other cars, so you can be first, and you can't do the same thing, you're going to have a hard time winning. You're going to have a tough time winning. And this is what Democrats do. This is what the left has been doing. And they're being and now they're being funded by people like George Soros and all of his societies and all of his all of his agencies. That's how you get people like Alvin Bragg. So what is there to do? What is there to do is to stand up. To stand up and have our Congress critters stand up. I know it's scary, and I know that it's tough, and they're going to catch all sorts of hell for it. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. It's going to be tough, but you have to stand up. You have to fight back. At some point, you're going to have to fight back. My name is Willie Lawson. This has been the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.